I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. All of that.
I noticed you had the Whitney school. You had the Whitney impression there too.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
How are you?
I'm cheesing. Like, I'm smiling so big. I love when I get to see you.
It was nice to see you too, and congratulations, you're getting married.
I'm getting married. I said yes.
Single ladies no more.
No more.
Congrats. How long? When did you get engaged?
I got engaged last June 20th. Yes.
And anything you want to tell me?
He's fantastic. Love wins, Mr. Valentine. I'm going to be Jully Valentine.
His last name is Valentine?
His last name is Valentine.
You're going to take the name?
Hell yeah.
Jully Valentine's a nice name.
It's sexy, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to change my name, like stage name, everything.
Are you really thinking
the government? Yeah. I think the next album's going to be Jully Valentine.
What makes you say that?
Why not?
It is a nice name.
Why
Jully
not?
Black's pretty good though.
It's all right.
It's branding.
I know that, you know.
Everybody knows you.
Yeah, Sean Carter, Jay-Z.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
Right.
And 17 years since you've done a tour.
Yes.
How's it been? Like, what does it look like right now when you're getting ready to go for this? What's your days look like?
It's long fast. It's working out. It's not speaking very much. Lots of sleep.
I'm glad you're here.
Right? Seriously. It's like the mileage on the vocal cords. But if you remember, I did theater 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Carolina Change.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's the same discipline. So, and it was the same time, around the same time, 5 years ago. So here we are.
17 years since you've been out.
Like a full tour, not spot dates, festivals, like a full 3 nights, 3 in a row, 2 in a row. We're doing it independently, taking it across the country, heading to the West Coast, West Side.
Is it just time? Is that what it is? Just time to go back on the road?
It's time. I have the wisdom, I have the resource, and I have the faith. Really?
Yeah. And Canadians are really, really excited about this. So let's talk a little bit about your story, because I always find it really interesting. You started singing when you were 6 years old in church.
Yes.
Do you remember the first time you sang for people?
I do. And it was, I was 6. My sister brought me to choir practice because she had to babysit me. And I soaked in the song, and it was, oh, it is Jesus. Oh, could I say Jesus on there? Yes, it is Jesus. It is Jesus in my soul. For I have touched the hem of his garments, and his blood has made me whole.
What do you feel singing that for me right now? Like, what's when you sing that song?
Oh, emotion. I could cry right now.
Why is that?
Because I could feel my mom's presence, community presence, knowing that I was special.
How did you know?
I knew because the way people responded, their eyes were closed and they were arms up, like worshiping, praising, escaping. And I'm like 6, saying, oh, snap. I have a superpower.
It must have been a powerful thing.
Yeah, it still is.
But that's sacred music. My understanding is secular music-wise, it was Whitney, right? Whitney Houston. Tell me a little bit about what she meant to you.
My late sister, Sharon, she was the original singer of my family.
Right.
And she would paint. She was a painter, and she would paint and sing Whitney and play Whitney. And I was kind of at her feet. And Whitney was just all in my household. And so I didn't have, thing is, my mom bought me a Cabbage Patch. This is the truth. Did you hear the Cabbage Patch story?
No.
My mom bought me a Cabbage Patch, but it was a fake Cabbage Patch. Okay.
Oh.
It wasn't a real one. Couldn't afford the real one. But
Yeah.
she bought me a fake one to look real. And we went to the doctor, and I left the Cabbage Patch in the car. It was summer. Came back to the Cabbage Patch, face was melted, flat, smashed, done. Right? And it was show and tell on the Friday.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And my teacher, Miss Simon, I don't know if she's still around, grade 2, she said, why don't you sing on Friday? Yeah. And I sang a Whitney Houston song.
What one?
It was The Greatest Love of All. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. All of that.
I noticed you had the Whitney school. You had the Whitney impression there too.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, all of that.
And was that a moment where you go, okay, this is what I want my life to be?
Yeah.
But in secular music, there was no plan about being. The path could have been, I become a great gospel singer, I become a great sacred singer.
On Canada. When I visited my family in America,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, and it was Shirley Caesar and Andre Crouch and all these gospel singers.
Yeah.
Right, Tremaine Hawkins, and then I'd come back to Canada and it's like nothing.
Nothing.
So we'd bring cassette tapes back and listen. It was that type of thing.
So what was the moment where you go, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to be a singer. I want to be a performer.
It was I was a security guard.
Yeah.
At like 14, doing all ages in the West End.
Yeah.
Keelan Shepherd, there was an all ages club. I don't remember the name, but my sister was doing security. I know, right? And some hole in the wall. And
I'm trying to imagine a 14-year-old
I know,
as a security
so
guard.
I know, almost 5'10".
Yeah.
5'10", right? Think about this. 5'10". This is when I was 10. 10 years old, size 10 shoe, size 10 jeans, 5'10". All the 10s, okay?
Right, yeah.
So I went, and they would have me search like the underage people, whatever. So there was a guy that came, his name is Timothy Blair, Tim Dog. He had a song called F. Compton way back when. And I heard it in the background, like, who got talent? Anybody got talent? Anybody want to come up? And I begged my sister, I'm like, can I go? And she's like, okay, go. And I don't know what I sang. Probably Elder Bars or something. I would sing all types of different songs. And long story short, they ended up like signing me to a management deal at like 14. I ended up going to New York for like a whole year on the Greyhound after school on Friday. 12 hours on the bus. Get there Saturday, sleep a little bit, record all day Saturday, get back on the bus Sunday, get home Sunday night, back to school Monday. Mom wouldn't let me miss school. She's like, you could do it, but you can't miss school.
You were driven.
I
mean, literally, you were driven.
Right. But a big old Greyhound. And I got a record
But you were
deal.
driven. You were hungry.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to play something for you right now. So when you were 19, What It Takes comes out with Choclair, which wins the Juno for Best Rap Recording in 97. Take a listen to this.
Recognize, realize, understand. Yeah.
What?
You always got the goods.
Okay, so tell me what goes through your mind when you hear that. Tell me to the day you put your vocals on that. What do you remember?
I remember we were in his manager Lee's bedroom. We recorded it in the closet, and it was soundproofed by a single mattress, and just knocked it out the ballpark. That's my first time eating Chalks back then, and he heard about my voice through Cardinal and Socrates, etc. Because we were in band camp, Fresh Arts, and I remember it being like a moment. Like that was my first music video, everything.
Hold on, you knew Cardi and Socrates because of band camp?
Yes, called Fresh Arts. I was 15, turning 16.
What did you play in band camp?
My voice.
And what did Cardi play?
His voice.
And what did Sox play?
Well, the ASR. No. Sox played all the instruments. You know, he's classically trained.
Oh, I don't know.
Cello, violin, upright bass, all of that.
So Choclair hears about you and brings you in to do that, and that wins the Juno. What does that mean to you when you're 19?
I thought I was balling. Thought I was gonna get out the hood. Not so much.
No, it wasn't the way. It didn't do what you thought it would do.
No, it didn't do what I thought it would do. But it gave me a plan to become the wife of hip hop, the girlfriend of hip hop. So I started putting my voice on Cardinal songs, Infinite, Grimmy. Any hip hop person that needed a hook, I was doing it.
For the younger listeners who are listening to this who only know Toronto and Canada as like a real hub and supportive hub for hip hop and R&B, can you compare and contrast those days and now?
Ooh. Those days we really we used what we had to get what we want. You're right. We didn't have the technology, so we had to go in physically, right, and record.
You probably didn't have the support of like the labels
No label. No, I have letters. I still have letters of labels passing on me, but I have to say right now in real time, shout outs to Randy Lennox, who's the president of Universal Music Canada, who believed in me and said, you know what? All right, they did a joint venture with MCA Records. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, I want it. And to this day, he's the one that nominated me for my Walk of Fame, for the Star on the Walk of Fame. 20 years later, I had no idea.
He took a bet on you.
Yeah.
So hold on. So compare and contrast then. So the technology was different. You couldn't pass things along digitally.
Right.
You how about the feeling in the city then versus now for hip hop and R&B?
It was electric. It was alive. Right now, I feel like it's funny. I saw something on Instagram where they're comparing kids in the club now, just sitting head down on their phone, taking selfies. And then our day when we were like drenched, sweating, dancing, right? So it was more kinesthetic, right? It was a hands-on approach. When I look at my plaques on the wall, whether it was Revival or the songs Baby Blue or Woman in Song, we sold hard copies, like 100,000 actual units, right? So yeah, streams I get it. Yeah, okay, billion streams, but what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
What's the ROI on that?
Yeah, fair. And was it harder to get noticed back then? Was it harder to get your music out there back then?
It was hard to get the music out, but I feel like it was that reward. It was like the award versus the reward.
Right.
It was much more rewarding back then because you knew someone lined up at HMV or someone bought a hard ticket. This is what this Songs and Stories, that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. It's kind of paying homage to back in the day. Come, get your merch. I'm out there in the crowd. It's kinesthetic. You know, it's gonna see a hologram, whatever. Like I'm gonna actually touch your shoulder.
So, well, I mean, I'll go for that. This is what surprised me. You're on a steady trajectory of music, but in your spare time, you do a Police Foundation's diploma program.
Of course, you have to know all of this. Yes.
What inspires you to do a Police Foundation's diploma program at Seneca College, right?
Yes, Seneca College. Yes, honor roll. Hello, shout outs.
Why?
A lot of my friends didn't know their rights and responsibilities, and they were getting profiled. Profiling was happening way back then, and so I stepped in. I realized I'm the same Jully back then as I am now. The reason why I said home on native land. It's the same reason why I went and took that course at Seneca College, to go through that criminal code and say, you know that these are your rights.
Hold on, help me understand that better. Your friends, of course, as Black Canadians, were getting racially profiled or being poorly
pulled
treated.
over.
Yeah. And you say what? I need to learn how to stop
I need
this?
to learn what our rights and responsibilities are. I need to know, what does the criminal code say? Like, do we have to, if they pull us over, do we actually have to, like, you know, what can we say? What can we not say? You know, it was a thing.
What's one thing you've taken away from that course that time?
So when I was taking that course, there was a cultural awareness course within the curriculum. And it was showing Jane and Finch, where I was raised, from like the 60s and 70s. So I did this course in 1998. So they're still showing a video from the 60s and 70s. And, you know, carpenters and this, that. And there's nothing wrong with carpenters. But they were like, I'm like, but my aunt's a nurse. And my mom was, you know, just all the things, right? So it's like.
They were showing it as what? They were showing
current.
It as, okay.
So I started a petition to get it removed from the curriculum, right? Signatures, everything. I went to my dean, and he says, you're up for valedictorian. So if you go through this, you're probably going to lose that award. And I said, that's okay, I'll lose the award. And I did, and they took it out of the curriculum. I found out a couple of years later it's not there anymore.
Why is that so meaningful to you?
Oh, my, that's legacy. That's ancestors' wildest dreams. That's me doing something that's going to benefit the truth of who my culture, you know?
Can I go from playing you obscure parts of your career and finding out things and having a Nardwari thing with you to playing one of your biggest hits? Because when I was growing up, this was just the biggest. Corey and I were talking about this just then. Like, this was just on Much Music. This was the biggest song in the world to us. Take a listen.
Yo, my homegirl, Money Jane.
Love it. If you look, then you will find it. Think about what you looking for.
I love the sample on Money. Look, do you see I have goosebumps right?
Yes.
Do you see that right there?
Truth
Like that, yeah.
Yes.
I love Money Jane, man.
Me too.
Tell me something about Money Jane. What goes through your head listening to that?
Such a defining moment. Going across the country, being the only girl on the tour with the guys, but also I love that you said Much Music, because that gave us that helped us be seen. Like, really, no pun intended. Like, we became seen as Black artists, young artists going across the country, and it was Sean Paul. That was his first time on an international track.
So let's just pause on that for a second. So Sean Paul, who of course becomes bigger than anything with Get Busy and just huge songs like that. That's his first big international non-Jamaican track, right?
Yeah, I remember we were at the Junos. I think it was in Hamilton, and he was all like shy and nervous, and it was like, this is my first time going to be on international TV. We did that. You know what I mean? And he's still so nice. I saw him last year on the Welcome to Jamrock cruise, and he's still like, Jully, Wagwan. You know, so it's nice. It's nice.
We had him on not that long ago, and I played him Money Jane, and I don't think he was expecting it at all. Yeah. It was great, man. He was like, I love that. It was
good.
It was a nice moment. Did your you didn't tell when you were doing the course at Seneca, you didn't tell anybody in there that you were doing music at the time. So what happens? Like, years later, these same people just see you on Much Music doing Money Jane?
Yeah, pretty much. Same thing like when I worked at Royal Bank. Eventually, I got nominated for a Juno, and back then it was withdrawal slips. People were asking me for autographs on the withdrawal slip, and I was like, okay, I gotta quit now. I think it's time to quit because I can't be doing this anymore.
What was the moment that you quit?
When I was signing autographs on the withdrawal slip, and then went into the lunchroom and cried. I'm like, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. I just knew it just wasn't where I was supposed to be. So shout outs to Colin Lewis, who used to be at the agency group. He became my agent, and I said, listen, I need 2 gigs a month at $500. That's all I need so I can pay my rent. And he's like, all right, I got you. And he said, I'm going to take you from clubs to theaters to arenas. And he's the one that put me on tour with Yellow Card, played theaters, and then put me on tour with the Black Eyed Peas. So we accomplished what we set out to do.
I mean, did you ever? Let's skip ahead a little bit to your big first top 10 hit. I heard this at Shoppers last week.
Okay.
Originally recorded by Etta James, that's Jully Black and 7 Day Fool. You've said that this song embodies your resilience because you had just gone through a breakup and you had laryngitis.
I sure did. 9 songs in 9 days. That was the 9th song. Fun fact, actually, the guy that produced the song was the guy that I went through the breakup with.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's not awkward at all. Yeah, good.
Hello. But yeah, I just screeched it out. So a lot of the rasp, I was sick. But
why did you do an Etta James cover? Why did you do an old song?
I love Etta James.
Yeah.
I opened for her at the Ottawa Blues Fest way back when, and I hadn't sung 7 Day Fool. I would sing At Last, Fool That I Am, like all her ballads. And Keith Harris was like, hey, he kind of like, bet you can't do this, bet you can't make it your own. I'm like, no, come on. Yeah, let's go.
Here's a question. So that song was a hit back then, but speaking of streams, it's one of those songs that I find really impressive when a song has millions of streams on Spotify, but it came out before Spotify, which tells me that generations are catching on to it. People are going back to it.
Yeah.
When you imagine people listening to this song now, what do you imagine them doing? Why are they listening to it?
Oh my goodness, dancing. They're listening to it because it sounds so good. It feels so good. It probably reminds them of their parents or grandparents. It probably reminds them even of like Amy Winehouse, and then reminds them of me, right? And something that they could actually kind of just take out their hairbrush and sing.
I thought it was like it's a song you need when you're going through something, when you're feeling a hard time.
I don't think people. I think people listen to it because they actually feel good. Even though it's a breakup song, that it's like I'm doing so much for you. What the hell going on? It doesn't feel that way.
What happens when you get a big hit like that? How does your life change, or does it?
It does. It does. Shout outs. We make some money.
Yeah.
We definitely make some money.
Yeah.
Right. I was able to get my mom out of government housing and put her in a condo, which was a big deal for me.
How did you tell her that?
Oh my goodness, I didn't. We got it all planned out, bought all new furniture, everything. It's like, okay, like what you see on TV, like, Mom, okay, we're moving. But she was attached to where she lived. So that was kind of emotional. Yeah. Right. But then I said, Mom, like, your name's on the deed. Like, let's go. This is yours, So that was super special. And I could have stopped everything at that point. My number one goal was to get my mom out of government housing, and I did.
You used to call yourself a surrogate dreamer for your mom.
Yeah,
What
still
do you
am.
What do you mean by that?
My mom had dreams of being a comedian. I didn't know this.
Was she funny?
What? Super funny. I think she definitely left it for me. I'm super funny too. Yeah. So she wanted to be a comedian, but she's born in 1936, and it just wasn't happening coming from Jamaica. But there's a comedian, dub poet named Miss Lou, and she loved her stuff. And so we just let Mom kind of say what she wants, do what she wants on Sundays. Every Sunday is like our improv day. And so, yeah.
Like your mom would make jokes?
Yeah, make jokes, in the kitchen. Yeah, it's hilarious.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and then when she came down with dementia, I went and got a Zumba certification and started teaching dance on the Sundays. So we do dance and improv, and I have this thing about representing versus representing, and it was important for me, especially for my family, for us to represent how like the Jamaican household is. Like, Mom was, came from a different time, but she was super cool. And even though she was a Christian woman, she didn't mind that I had tattoos and piercings. So this whole thing about being so like strict, she wasn't like that. She was just super cool, super funny, and like, listen, God loves everyone, so do you.
I have family members like that too. It's the best. Yeah, they're religious as all hell, and they're God-fearing folks, and you would think that they would be judgmental people, but they're not. They're loving. I mean, that's the real spirit of the thing, is actually inclusivity and loving everybody. And
correct.
Really, if you boil down the whole book, that's all it really says.
That's it.
Is love one another.
Yeah.
But I'm still not sure I understand what it means to be a surrogate dreamer for her. Like I'm
carrying her dreams, because the dreams that my mom didn't get to birth, I'm birthing them for her. That's what it means.
What does that mean to you?
It means that as long as you have life, you have time, right? There's no retirement in purpose.
Right.
Right? And now I've moved from, I gotta do this, to I get to.
Right.
I get to sit here with Tom.
Thank you. You feel a gratitude because your mom never got to do any of these things.
Yeah. And she was around long enough to see me accomplish so many of my dreams. I remember when 7 Day Fool hit, and I was like, Mom, I just want to make you proud. And she stopped me. She said, I'm going to say it in Jamaican. She said, Drew, you can't put pride on top of pride. I'm already proud.
You can't put pride on top of pride.
Yeah. I'm proud. Full stop. I'm proud. You don't have to force it anymore. You know what I mean? Have fun.
What else would she say to you about your success?
She would say, go wash the plates.
Yeah, I know that one. I know that one for sure. That's a big one back home.
Yeah.
Oh, you're interviewing Bono, are you? Put the dishes in the sink now,
Thank
Olivia,
you.
for God's sake, please.
They know how to humble us.
Yeah.
You know what? Mom just loved that of her 9 children, I didn't park my dreams. I went for it. I'm going for it. I'm still going for it.
You're going for it on this tour.
That's right.
Let's talk about a moment where you made international news. You referenced it earlier when you changed the lyrics to "Oh Canada" at the NBA All-Star Game, changing it to "Oh Canada, our home on native land." We have a bit of the performance here.
Oh Canada,
This show is, whew.
our home on a native land. True.
Take me into that moment. What did it? What is it? How are you feeling listening to that?
I feel emotional.
Yeah.
It still hits a certain kind of way.
What did you feel in the moment when you sang that line?
I felt like I was in a bubble all by myself. Like there was nobody there but me and God. And it was very still. I often say that it's not the word that I said, but it's the pause, so you could hear what I said.
I noticed that just then.
Yeah, it was the pause, the power of the pause. You know.
Did you know you were going to do it right up until? Did you have any doubts on the way out? Did you have any?
No doubts. I knew I was going to do that in December. After I spoke to one of my friends, Selena Young, she's Indigenous. I said I had to ask, is it appropriate? You know, another one of my friends, Roy Perot, I asked as well, is this appropriate? And he says, yeah, it's appropriate. You have our blessing.
These were the conversations that you had.
Yeah, because appropriation versus appreciation.
Appropriation versus
Appreciation.
Tell me.
Yeah, because I might think this is something I appreciate the culture and I want to do something to show appreciation, but it may not be culturally appropriate. So I had to get permission.
So when you did it, it makes international news. What's your life like then? I never got to catch up with you after that.
Oh, we didn't get. It was 6 weeks straight of press, straight. Death threats. Had to get security. RCMP was involved.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Scary?
From the hood. Scary-ish. Not really. To be honest with you, no. The scariest thing I went through is burying my mom.
Of course. But there were death threats. There were people. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what I want to ask about that. Like, how do you get through something like that?
I know. I mean, my team stepped in and made sure I had my car and, locked the doors, all the things. But there's just keyboard gangsters.
What made it worth it?
It's always worth it to stand in the gap. Basically, it's doing something that I hope somebody would do for my culture, for Black community, right? It's like, okay, as a woman. So, but I go back to my mom. My mom would always say, like, listen, you know what? If you could do something for somebody else, you want something done for you? Okay, well, do it for somebody else. Do it for somebody else first. Do it for somebody else, even if they wouldn't do it for you.
Your mom, I spoke to you shortly after your mom passed away back in 2017. What was your mom's name again?
Agatha.
Agatha. Did she have a middle name?
No middle name. Agatha McPherson is her maiden name. Married my dad, Agatha Gordon.
Agatha Gordon.
Yeah.
God love her. Is I know that was so hard. I remember talking to you shortly after that. I remember you said it to me just then. It's the hardest thing you've ever gone through. Mm-hmm. What's the biggest lesson you took from her?
Whew. So, literally probably a couple days before she passed, she asked me, she said, Jude, do you want to be a mother or do you want to have a baby? And it seemed so random. I was like, I want to be a mother. She said, okay, good. Don't let anybody rush you. You have your entire life.
Do you want to be a mother or do you want to, what does she mean by that?
Meaning I don't have to biologically deliver a baby. I don't have any biological children.
Right.
Right? And I may not because the menopause has punched me in the face.
Right.
Menopause like Mike Tyson, yo. Menopause is like, might as well call it Menno Tyson.
It's not pausing, I tell you that much.
It's not pausing. It ain't pausing. Tom, it ain't pausing.
Mena keeps going.
It keeps going. Ain't no pause.
Okay, I got to stop, or I'm going to lose my job.
Right.
So a mother meaning nurturing.
Nurturing, but yeah, you could adopt. Just I feel like I'm a mother anyway. I've been a mother. I'm very mothering, So yeah, and forgiveness is the gateway to freedom. That right there, I carried a lot of resentment. My parents divorced, and she kind of helped me be like, listen, just let it go. Let it go. I let it go.
Yeah, you can carry around that stuff. I mean, last time we talked about all the ways you were treated poorly by the Canadian music industry, the way blah, 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 blah. And you said something similar that, you can't carry that with you.
No, let it go. That's why I look so good, Tom. That's why I look so good.
That's why.
That's why.
That's why. I was wondering, because I can't let anything go. That's why I'm only joking. That's why I have gray hair at 37. Let's talk about songs and stories.
Yeah.
It's not just you getting up on stage and playing music, as wonderful as that might be. You're playing songs from your entire career. There's a whole storytelling component to the show, right?
There is, absolutely. And my mom is featured in the show.
What do you mean?
You got to come see.
Tell me a little bit.
I can't tell you. It's so special. That's what I'm preparing for. That's the hardest part of the preparation, is my mom being a part of it. It's special. Not just my stories, her stories of fans that sent me stories why I wrote certain songs. There's a song, Time of Your Life. I do a lot in the HIV/AIDS space, and that was a story about someone contracting HIV/AIDS, and I wrote the song about it, right? So, and how this lady got through, type thing, right? So,
what's your favorite story to tell on the show?
I don't have one favorite story, and now, but I'm in love now, honey. I'm in love now. Okay, I'm getting married, so no one's ever seen this Jully.
I've never seen this Jully before.
No, you haven't. You've known me a long time.
I've known you a long time. We've done a lot of weird gigs together. We've done some weird gigs together. What can fans expect from the show?
Oh my! Well, live music. Can we talk about instruments again? Put instruments in your kids' hands. We need live music. We need them to play instruments. So the show's gonna be phenomenal. Custom. I got costumes. I'm doing outfit changes. We're not playing with outfits, but really vulnerability on steroids. Vulnerability on steroids. I'll be in the audience. I'll be right there with you. It's going to be fantastic. Going out west, going across the country, but I really want to speak to Saskatoon. I want to speak to Regina, Edmonton, Calgary, right? We're going to Manitoba, like places where I don't always get to be. You can't just see me at the Sobeys and Shoppers, right? Mm-hmm. And so not since, I think, the Black Eyed Peas tour have I been to that region.
No way.
Yeah, it's time. So come on out.
You got to go to Newfoundland. You got to go to Newfoundland.
I know. We need to do the East Coast thing.
Come on.
Bring me.
I'll go out with you. Sure,
bring me.
Whenever you want. And you have new music coming out soon too, right?
New music. I just finished an incredible duet with my favorite Canadian band,
Tom Power.
This one is so special.
Who is it?
I can't tell. Then you won't bring me back.
I'll have you back. Who is it?
I can't tell you. And I'm writing a memoir, so.
Have you ever made a sacred record, a religious songs record?
No, everyone's asking me to. I think I will.
I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. Actually, I want to do it with a choir, like a whole choir thing, and I'm gonna do a Christmas album called "Sexy Christmas."
You're busy.
Yeah.
Valentine?
No. I'm productive. Everybody's busy. Not everybody's productive.
Jully Black, I can't wait to see the show. Thanks for coming.
Are you coming?
Yeah, I'll be there.
We have it on record.